From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, after the lightning-sparked fires we've seen over the last few days, because of all the lightning strikes we've seen the last few days, we have no more thunderstorms in the forecast today, tomorrow, the rest of the week, the weekend, and most likely even going into next week. We're also looking at a bit of a cooling trend. However, we're dropping our temperatures down a bit today, a little spike tomorrow, and then another dip, a good dip going into your Friday and Saturday. But it will be warming back up again, so a bit of a roller coaster ride, if you will, those temperatures. But at least through next week, I'm not seeing any big temperature increases, any big heat waves heading our way anytime soon. There you can see your neighborhood forecast for the rest of the day today. We're talking low 90s in the valley, 80s for most of the higher elevations, and right on the upper 50s for the coast. Let's take a look at our fire weather forecast, sponsored by Garmin's Tractor Service. You can see those winds are going to be picking up here once again this afternoon. Not a major wind event, and that's really the key here. No major wind events heading our way, but we do expect some elevated winds here for Thursday afternoon. There you can see, especially for the north and west side of the valley, we'll see those winds coming in from the northwest at around 25 to even 30 mile an hour gusts. The good news is the winds do die down again on Friday as typical, picking back up again for Friday afternoon, but not as strong as what we're going to see on Thursday. So what does that mean for our fire weather risk? Well, unfortunately, we're going to be in that moderate to high range today, really mainly within the moderate range. And quite honestly, typically, and what we're seeing here and what we will see on a daily basis is, especially for the valley and even some of the mountain locations, we are going to see a lot of yellows and oranges on the map. That's going to be normal. That's going to be typical. The more green we can get, the better, right? But as we start getting the yellows, it's moderate. Oranges, it's high. It's the reds and the purples. When we start getting into those colors, that's when we really need to pay close attention to what's going on around us. So again, you can see those humidity levels. That's the numbers that you see on your screen there. They are going to really not drop a whole lot for tomorrow morning. There you can see 20 to 25% for Redding and Red Bluff. And by the afternoon, you see how we're seeing more orange on the map. They're indicating those strong winds I was talking about, gusts of 25, 30 miles per hour, low humidity, as you can see in the lower teens, and the heat. That unfortunately is going to increase that fire weather risk. Then we go into Friday morning. Decent recovery, but still about 20% for Red Bluff, 26% for Redding. And then we're getting in that moderate to barely getting in that high range here for Friday afternoon. So again, nothing unusual, nothing alarming when we look at the overall fire weather risk here. By the way, as we're in the fire season, I want to let you know that as you go to weathernorcal.com, scroll down a little bit, you'll see where it says fire danger. Click right there and you'll have all the information you need on current fires and fire weather. It's all right there. weathernorcal.com, click on the fire section. So we have a series of storms over the Pacific, or over the Gulf of Alaska, that are heading through the Pacific Northwest. That is the source for our cooler air that's going to be moving on in. You see that right there coming in from the Gulf of Alaska. Now, it's mainly going to push through the Pacific Northwest, but what it will do is moderate our temperatures. Upper 80s, low 90s for Friday, Saturday in the valley. Now, that will move on out, and it warms back up a little bit. Now, we are going to see a bit of a trough of low pressure to our west early next week. The main impact is not going to be much, and probably the winds picking up a little bit here and temperatures increasing as well, but there's no moisture for this to work with, so we're not going to see any showers or thunderstorms. Then that cooler air you see to our north, northwest, that is riding to our north. That's preventing the heat to our south and west from building in. Now, don't let that fool you. It's still going to be hot, folks. We're still talking upper 90s to a little over 100 degrees in the valley. But we're not going to be talking about 105, 110 or higher. And you can bet we'd be talking about those temperatures if that colder air to our north wasn't there. Because that heat that big heat that's to our south and west would be allowed to build in, and we would be much, much warmer. In fact, you can see the 10-day trend. So remember what I was talking about. Don't let that fool you. We're still up to about 100 degrees, 102 by Tuesday, Wednesday, but then temperatures may drop slightly again after that toward the end of next week. All right, let's take a look at our forecast for today. Yeah, not bad today. Low 90s for your daytime highs in the valley, 80s for the most part in the mountains, and we're talking upper 50s for the coast. Tonight, low 60s for the valley, 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, and mid to upper 40s for the coast tonight, with partly to mostly cloudy skies and that low clouds and fog. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast for the valley, and you can see those temperatures are dropping down to about 90, give or take, by the time we do get into your Friday, Saturday, but temperatures increasing again after that. All right, we take a look at the coast, inland, and for Trinity County. Temperatures going down, then back up again, partly to mostly cloudy skies for the coast. Taking a look at Siskiyou, Modoc County, the eastern mountains, and no showers, no thunderstorms. Temperatures dropping Friday, Saturday, and then a slight increase as we go into early next week. That's your afternoon update. I'll be back again, that is, at 6 o'clock this evening. Until then, have a great afternoon.
Construction season is well underway in the North State, and we'd like to remind drivers to slow down around work zones. Keep Caltrans workers safe when they're on the job, and remember to be work zone alert when you see the color orange. Remember to pay attention to signs, merge early, avoid distractions, and don't speed. This message is brought to you by Caltrans District 2.